Hi everyone, and welcome to the webinar. My name's Cliff Andrews, and very pleased to see you here. It's been an amazing event in as much as we've had 550 people sign up. That's a record for us. And we've got over 100 online now, and more people are joining every minute. Some of you will be watching this on the replay, either on the video replay or like live replay, and that's totally cool. Okay, so what have we got in store for you? Well, we've got 60 minutes. It's a very exciting day for us here at NewEnergyWork. We can only produce about 2 online courses a year because they take about 6 months of research, all the videoing, the editing, creating the resources. And we're really, really excited about this one. And hi to everyone. We've got someone from Sydney here, from Austria, Puerto Rico, Sweden. Wow, we've got a real international crew here. Portland, Oregon. Hi there. France, Berlin. Hey, Chris. Wow. Yep. Craig, I know where he's from, Cornwall. Wow. We've got hundreds of people. I can't keep up with them. Anyway, I must keep focused. Yeah. So it's very, very exciting for us because we've been doing research for 6 months, and we found that our practice of shiatsu, the way that we treat stress and trauma clients, has been transformed by this work, and we're getting some very, very exciting results. It's made us kind of rethink what we're doing. Very strong connections with TCM, but with the neurophysiological input. Very exciting. And on a personal note, I've been working through some of my own childhood trauma using some of the techniques, and I've had some great personal results. So we're really, really excited about this. If you check out the chat, you'll see that everyone's saying hi. We've got people from all over the world. It's all very, very exciting. Okay, so we've got 60 minutes together. I'm going to start the slideshow soon. I've got all kinds of things in store for you. Basically, we're launching the course in an hour's time. It's all very exciting. So what we've done is taken a few little bits out of the course materials, put them together just to see whether you're interested in the material. And if you want to join us on the course later on, that would be great. We'd love to see you on the course. Okay, so let's just have a look and see where the slides are. Okay, so here we go. Yeah, so you should see the slides on the screen now, and you can adjust it and see less of me and more of the slides if you want. Oh, we've got people from Norfolk as well, from France, Berlin, Australia. Oh, well done, Australia. It's 4:30 in the morning. I'm really, really impressed. Okay, so let's just go through some of the slides and let's see. Okay, so what we've got in store for you for the next hour, we have got polls. So I'm going to find out a bit about you as a group. We've got the chat feature. You seem to have found that no problem. Okay, so you can just say hi to everyone on the chat. And then when we have a question time, if you put in a question, I can't guarantee I'll be able to answer everyone's questions, but I'll do my best. I've got some handouts for you, some of the handouts that we've developed for the course. Obviously, we've got the slides. You can see these. We've got a few videos, a few little video clips, so you can see the kind of thing that we've been exploring, because the new courses are all video-based, really. And we've got some exercises to do. So I've got my piece of paper ready and my pen. So if you want to go and get a piece of paper and a pen at some point, that would be cool, because I'm going to take you through an energy work exercise, and we're going to discover a few things, hopefully, by working on ourselves. Okay, so yeah, that's it. It's 60 minutes or a little bit less now together. Okay, that's cool. So let's go. Right, what I'm going to first of all ask you, as I would like to know whether you're a shiatsu student, shiatsu practitioner, what exactly you are. So I'm going to launch a poll. So get ready, okay? And you're going to just vote on that poll, and we'll see whether you're a student. Can you just tell me whether you're a shiatsu student, practitioner, teacher, or other? Maybe you don't do shiatsu. That's okay. You're welcome here. So let's have a look. You just like to answer the poll. We see them coming in. We got 73%, 74% of everyone voting. Wow. Okay, we've got 126 people on board now, everyone, and they're still coming in. So welcome if you just tuned in. By the way, if you have to leave early or anything like that, or something happens, you can always watch the recording later on. We'll send you a link to that straight after, as soon as we've processed it. Okay, so what have we got? We've got mainly shiatsu practitioners, 77%. Okay, 12% of you are students, so that's quite good. And this is, some of it's pretty advanced, this work, but hopefully it will get your interest in the subject. And we've got a few people that aren't shiatsu practitioners. You're welcome. Okay, and we've got 10% of you are shiatsu teachers, so I better do a good job. Okay, cool. Let's have a go. What's next? Oh yeah, let's find out where you are. This should be interesting, shouldn't it? Let's see. Let's see where you are. Where are you? Let's see. Judging by the chat, we've got a pretty international group on the webinar tonight. So let's see whether we've got anyone from, if we've got representatives from everywhere. Let's see. Wow, so many votes coming in. Terrific. Okay, well, welcome for those of you in Asia and the Middle East and Australasia, especially as it's 4:30 in the morning in Australia, so that's really amazing. Okay, and we've got some people from the Americas, that's cool too. But most of you are from Europe and Scandinavia, so that's great too. Okay, you're not too far away. Fantastic. Okay, so let's get on with the slides. Thank you. Right, here we go. Right, so let's give you, I'm just going to give you an overview now of what we're going to do in the next hour. We're going to look at the new paradigm. Well, it's new for Western science, but it's not new for us because we've been doing it all along, as we'll find out. But it's interesting because it's coming closer. We're starting to get really good neurological models now and knowledge about the neurological system that fits exactly with what we're doing with shiatsu. Fantastic. We'll look at polyvagal theory. That's one of my real interests. You know, I've read this book just so you don't have to. Okay, it's very technical. We're going to look at some of the connections with shiatsu and TCM. They're really quite some very direct connections there. We'll look at the trauma stages. We're going to go into the 5 elements. Into the fire element, and have a look at that in more detail. Very interesting. But obviously, we're just skimming just a tiny bit of the material on the course. It's a 45-hour course, but we'll have a look. I'm going to give you, if you would permit me to spend a few minutes at the end showing you around the idea of the course, and then I will kind of review everything at the end. Okay, so cool. There we go. Here we are. Okay, cool. Here we go. Ah, great. Italy, Perugia, Liverpool, and hey, from France. We've got several people from France. That's so great. Okay, so when we started researching the course, I thought, right, we've got to get down to it. We've got to get through all of the 4 main authors and researchers in this subject. So we got all the books, as you probably saw in the promo video. And basically, there's 4 big names that it's good to know about. We've got Peter Levine. He's an animal physiologist, and he's basically named the trauma stages based on his observation of animals. And that's very, very interesting work. There's direct connections with the meridians, which I've been doing for several years, actually. Peter Levine was the first person I got into. Actually, then the next book I read was Bessel van der Kolk's book, which The Body Keeps the Score. It's a great book. He's a psychiatrist. He's been working in psychiatry for 30 years. And amazingly enough, maybe not to us, but at the end of the book, he more or less says that conventional drug therapy and a lot of conventional talking therapy is not as effective as body work. Talking about things like yoga, qigong, massage, and of course, shiatsu is right in that zone there. He's also interested in things like drama therapy, and he's got loads of research to back that up. Very, very cool guy. Okay. Then we've got Stephen Porges. He developed this whole polyvagal theory, which is a neurophysiological theory. Very exciting. It's based on the embryological developments of the nervous system. Very, very interesting. And we're going to go into a bit more detail about that later on. And then Pat Ogden, she's a psychotherapist, and she wrote this book called Sensory Motor Psychotherapy. And basically what she did was she took Stephen Porges' ideas and turned them into a therapy-based environment. So it's really just a whole book of energy work exercises that you can pretty much translate into shiatsu. Very exciting, very big book, another very big book. Okay, And what they all share is this idea that the best way to deal with stress and trauma is a body-based approach. So there they are, the 4 big people, okay? Now, why is it a new paradigm? Well, if you think about Western thought tends to divide up the vibrational levels up into layers. So at the bottom of the layer, we'd have the body, the physical body, and that would be where physiologists would work, research physiologists. They do experiments on animals to cut people up. Once we get onto the emotions, then we tend to think about psychologists or agony aunts, if we want to write to the newspaper and tell them their problems. So that's another area of study. And then if you go further up into the medical aspect of the mind, then you get into psychiatry, which is a kind of a different thing. And then once you get into the spiritual level, well, that's just like for priests and gurus and things, okay? Now, the problem with this is one of the things that Stephen Porges says in his book. The problem with this is there's not much connection between research. What is an agony aunt? Okay, Sylvia, an agony aunt is someone you write to in a newspaper and in a or a magazine, and you say all their problems, and then they write down, you know, Mrs. So-and-so had this problem with her husband, or this Mr. So-and-so had this problem with his wife or a daughter or whatever. It's called an agony aunt because you give this agony, your agony, to this aunt who's who writes the paper. That doesn't translate very well into other languages, does it? I'm sorry about that, everyone. Okay, but hopefully I've explained it now. Yeah, so Stephen Porges says, Stephen Porges puts this in his book. He said, look, the problem is that the psychiatrists and the psychologists, they're doing their own research. It's all kind of mind research. The physiologists are doing their research on the body, and there's not very much connection between them. And the reason that polyvagal theory has been so amazingly popular all over the world with all kinds of therapies is because it does exactly that. It brings neurophysical research into the therapeutic environment. And so for shiatsu particularly, because it's an energy-based thing, it's mind-body connection, it's just awesome. It's really awesome. Okay. So of course we were there first. Of course we were, yeah, because we work with Ki. And the thing about Ki is it basically connects up the body, emotions, mind, and spirit, doesn't it? Think of the liver. You've got the muscles, the joints, you've got the anger, you've got the decision making, and you've got the ethereal soul. More on that later. So that's all connected via the liver meridian. It's the same with all of the meridians. Okay. So anyway, we were there first. Everyone's getting excited. You read Pat Ogden's book, the first page, it goes, oh my God, it's a new paradigm. We're connecting the mind and the body. It's a first. And I'm just thinking, yeah, right. Okay, good. You know, with shiatsu, we just, you know, like we've been doing it for like 5,000 years, but thanks for catching up on that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Okay. So anyway, these are the 4 guys, or women, I should say, women and men, who, which book would you recommend by Pat Ogden? Well, I've been reading the big one, what's it called? Sensory motor psychotherapy, but it is very, very big. And there may be other secondary texts that are probably easier to read. But anyway, I'm working through it. It's very readable, actually. It's pretty good. It's just very, very big. Okay, so there's the 4 people. So what I thought I'd do is I'd find out, why don't we have a quick poll, find out how familiar you are. I'm going to go through the 3 main people, Peter Levine, Stephen Porges, and Pat Ogden, with a poll. And I just want to ask you how much you know about it already, okay? So let's start off with Peter Levine. What's your understanding of Peter Levine's work? What do you think? Is it very good? Good? You don't know his work? Let me just find out from you. Okay. Okay. Wow. Okay, cool. Very good. So wow. Okay. So over half of you, nearly 60%, 56% of you don't know his work. Okay. But 19% of you know his work very well, and 26% know pretty well. So you're about split a bit half, slightly less than half are familiar with his work. Okay, really worth reading. I would read Waking the Tiger. It's only a thin book. Or I tell you what, I'll show you a video exercise that Basti and I did for the course later on, and you'll see how we went through those stages, and I'll give you a bit more information on this webinar. Okay, cool. So about half of you knew that. So let's get rid of that one. And let's find out about Stephen Porges. So Stephen Porges and polyvagal theory. Let's see how many of you shiatsu, lovely shiatsu people, Oh, yeah, okay, right. What's your understanding of Stephen Porges and polyvagal theory? Let's see whether he's better known. Maybe not. Wow, you're getting faster at voting. Yeah, okay, cool. Wow, okay. Wow, okay. 70% don't know his work and 11%. So we're looking at 80% are not sure or don't know his work. Wow, okay. Right, let's get on with the webinar then. I've got some amazing stuff to share about that. And let's finally find out about what you know about Pat Ogden's work. I'm just going to hide that up. Do you know Pat Ogden's work? Let's just launch that poll. Do you know Pat Ogden's work at all? Sensory motor psychotherapy. How well is she known? Whoa, okay. Okay. Wow, no one knows a lot about her work. 8% know a little bit about, and a whopping 91% either don't know or are not sure. Okay, cool. Well, I don't have much featured on her in this webinar, but we're going to integrate a lot of her exercises all the way through the course in each of the modules. And at the end of the course, we're going to bring it all together. I've already started recording a set of audio exercises that link internal Qigong, internal energy movements with Qigong, with the understanding of the TCM. And I've linked that with all of those people's research, polyvagal theory and the sensory motor psychotherapy. So I started recording them, and hopefully by the time we get to module 8, I'm going to have a whole set of them. I've already started sharing them with my clients, and I've had some excellent results with severe post-traumatic stress disorder clients. And I'll talk a little bit more about what's changed in my work a little bit later. Okay, so it's very, very interesting. So Peter Levine's fairly well known, about half of you, but Pat Ogden's hardly known at all, and nor is Stephen Porges. Okay, let's get on with this. Okay, now I'm going to just show you this slide. This is based on Peter Levine's work, and he identified 5 stages of the trauma process. There's the arrest, which is kind of when you kind of go, whoop, something's happening. There's the flight or fight response, when you kind of run or you're going to fight a person or the animal or whatever it's attacking you or whatever it is the threat is. Then there's the freeze response. And then finally, there's the fold or the collapse response. Now, I've been working with Peter Levine's work for quite a few years now, and I've done workshops, face-to-face workshops and online workshops before, way back in the day, are using his techniques, using his ideas connected to the mass narcotic system and the TCM shiatsu theory system, and it works really well. One of those exercises I've videoed. I did it with Basti. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to play that video. It's going to stream from YouTube, so be patient. It might take a little bit of time to load, but we should be able to watch at least some of the video. It's a bit long. It's like 6 or 7 minutes long, so I'll probably cut it short. Let me see if it works. Just hang on there and see if you can see Basti and me doing this exercise. Okay, let's do that. Hey, Basti. Hello. Hey, Basti. Hello. So we're going to do like an experiential exercise together. Yep. Okay. And the idea is I'm going to take you through all the different stages of the trauma response in an exercise. Okay. Yeah. Now we're going to take it nice and easy because obviously we don't want to trigger anything too heavy. Okay. We'll keep it kind of like fairly relaxed. Okay. Yeah. But the idea is for you to get an experience in your own energy of the different stages, because that helps understand clients, Okay. Right? Yeah, absolutely. So are you up for that? I am very up for that. Okay, great. Okay, Basti, so now I want you to imagine you're an antelope, okay, and you're on the savannah in Africa. Everything is fine, you're just grazing, relaxing. There's a whole herd of other antelopes around, okay? Mm-hmm. Just tune into your energy, you're nice and relaxed. Everything is fine, okay? And now I want you to imagine that there's a lion somewhere behind you, and it's starting, you can hear it starting to creep up on you, okay? So you're going to get ready to run away, okay? So just see what happens, that's right. See what happens in your energy as you do that. Okay, got that? Okay, now the lion's getting closer. It's getting closer. And when you're ready, when you can't stop yourself anymore, I want you to run on the spot and imagine you're running away from the antelope. Okay, so go. Okay, that's it. You're doing really well. The lion's still catching up with you. Okay, now I want you to imagine that the lion actually catches you and gets hold of you. So it's actually got hold of you now. So you're going to do a really good defensive thing now. You're going to freeze and pretend you're dead. So just, that's it, just freeze. Okay. Okay, Basti, so now you've frozen. Okay. The lion is still actually attacking you. Okay. So you're freezing, you're pretending you're dead, and obviously you don't want to feel any pain. So now we're just going to separate your mind from your body. I just want you to imagine that you're bringing your mind away from your body. That's it. And you're looking down at yourself. And you're completely safe now because you're not going to feel any pain. Okay, now the lion is not interested in you anymore, and he's trotting off to find another antelope that's moving. So now you need to come back into your body. So just bring your mind back into your body and allow it to connect with your body. That's it. And just see if you can just shake yourself back into your body. That's it. And you just do that until you feel completely relaxed again and completely back into your body. Okay, and as soon as you feel happy, you can get back up again. A happy antelope. That's it. Congratulations, you've completed the whole trauma response cycle. How do you feel?
Interesting. Interesting.
Very
interesting.
Yeah, okay, so I just wanted to take you back through the process again. So you were a happy antelope. Feedback on that exercise. If you didn't get the video stream, I'm really sorry about that. Occasionally it doesn't seem to get through. It comes from YouTube, but it's on the NewEnergyWork YouTube channel at the moment. I put it up there for this webinar, so you can check it out, and I'll send you a link. I'll send you a link later, or you can go to the free stuff zone on NewEnergyWork and go into the YouTube channel. But basically what Basti did, to summarize, is he basically became hyper aware, went into fight and flight, ran away, and then I imagined I caught him from behind, so he instinctively went into a freeze response. He went down onto the floor, and then he basically dissociated, moved away from his body, and then experienced, when the threat was removed, experienced his awareness coming in, and then he shook, which is a natural trauma response. It was like a shaking response, and he came back into his body, and then he was fine. So basically that's an exercise. It's in the course and you can see it on YouTube. It takes you through an experiential exercise. Just be careful. If you've got any heavy trauma that you're working on at the moment, or you think might affect you, it's good to have supervision. Do it with another therapist to support you in that exercise. But I've used it many times in class, and it is possible to do it and get a really good experience out of it. Okay, cool. Let's go back to the slide and see what's happening. Oh, Etienne was upset because I didn't ask about Bessel van der Kolk's work, did I? So while we were watching the video, I did a little bit of work behind the scenes, and I've got a new poll for you. So let's find out how many of you are, how well do you know Bessel van der Kolk's work? Because he's very popular. That book is a very popular book. So you might find that, some of you anyway might know his work. He's actually friends with all the other three people, and they're all together. They all kind of work together. They know each other very well. Well, look at this. Actually, quite surprised. Over 70% of you don't know it at all, and 12% not sure. So that's 80-odd% shiatsu practitioners don't know that book. It's a best-selling book on trauma. It's an Amazon bestseller. It's only a thin book. It's an absolute you can't put it down. If you start reading it, you cannot put it down. It's absolutely packed with interesting case histories and experiences that he's had. And I mean, you just come out with thinking that's amazing, because after 30 years, he's basically saying body work, energy work, qigong, massage, theatre work is the most effective way to go. And that's from a straight psychiatrist with all the drugs and all the whatever tests that he can possibly do. So there we are. We're right in the zone here, everyone. Okay, so that's the the trauma. That's the trauma stages: arrest, flight, fight, freeze, okay, and fold. And then finally, the discharging is the shaking. Now, it might be a good time now for me to share some stuff with you. I've got a couple of handouts from the course. What have I got? I've got this one, which links the, I'm going to share it. You should be able to download it. It should go up as a download there. You can see how many people are clicking it, so you definitely can click it, download it. If you can't get it for any reason, just email me and I'll send you one after the webinar. Probably not tonight because I need to go home, but yeah, so if you have a problem, but it looks like most of you being able to download it, so that's cool. Okay, now that chart, what that does, it's an early chart. I've been using this one for quite a few years, and basically it connects a lot of Peter Levine's ideas about trauma stages with TCM that you're familiar with, so it's kind of useful, right, for that. Okay, cool. Moving on, we're nearly halfway through. Time does fly when you're having fun, doesn't it? Okay, so we've watched me and Basti do the exercise, and I've explained it to you. Okay, I'm going to share another YouTube video with you. I just hope it works for you. If not, it's on YouTube and it's on our it's on YouTube. Yeah, full stop. If you search for Stephen Porges and polyvagal theory, you'll find this video. Why polyvagal theory? Right. Okay. Well, the thing for us is it connects the mind and the body in a way that's very close to TCM. It's part of the new paradigm, so everyone in the West is really excited about it. The main thing is it links the emotions with the organs. So whoa, that's it. We're right in the zone there, exactly in our zone for shiatsu and TCM. And it does it through connections in neurophysiology, okay? And the way he explains it is through the evolution of the vagal system, okay? And I'm just going to just lead you through that. Now, when I was doing my anatomy and physiology back when dinosaurs ruled the earth back in the day, it really was a long time ago, I learned about the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system balancing each other out, okay? But that's an oversimplification, because there are actually two branches of the parasympathetic nerve, or the vagal nerve, okay? There's the mammalian vagus, which developed very late in evolution, and it only starts developing after 6 months in the womb. So the last 3 months of gestation, when we're in the mother's womb, it starts to develop, okay? It's fascinating because that mammalian vagus connects the face, and it connects the voice, the ears, and it connects the heart and the lungs, okay? It's a myelinated vagal nerve. In other words, it's a bit more sophisticated. It's got myelin around it. It's kind of like really kind of up to date bit of wiring. And it basically controls the upper, above the diaphragm and the face. It's extremely closely related to facial expressions, listening to soothing voices, talking in a smooth way, and just being in a safe environment surrounded by people, okay? Now, in contrast, there's another branch of the vagal nerve which goes down below the diaphragm, and that's unmyelinated, so it's kind of old wiring, and and we've inherited that from the reptiles, okay? So that's like really old, okay? And these systems, two systems, the mammalian vagus, okay, here, and the reptilian vagus down here, they work together in a hierarchical way, which is kind of really interesting. So let's have a look. Okay, so look, here's the mammalian or smart vagus. It connects with the face, the ears, and the throat. It's all about listening, expressing yourself, looking happy, soothing voices. It's directly connected to the emotions because the heart sends signals back up into the brain via the vagal nerve. A vast majority of the vagal nerve is actually afferent. In other words, it gives information up into the higher parts of the brain, so you can see how you're feeling. It acts like a brake on the heart. So what happens is when you get excited, you're happy, you want to get into something. In other words, what we would say would be like the fire element activated. What happens is the mammalian vagus takes the brake off the heart starts beating, you breathe a bit faster, and you get excited within a safe zone. And it's safe because you can hear things, you can see that everyone's friendly, you can talk to them, and you're in that mammalian zone, okay? And everything is cool. So that's the mammalian vagus, okay? Now, in contrast, the reptilian or primitive vagal nerve is to do with freeze and shut down, because, as we'll see later, what happens when we get overwhelmed is that we become like a reptile, basically. And reptiles, when they're under threat, just shut down. Everything goes really quiet. It's like a freeze response, a freeze and shut down. You'll get lack of emotion in the face, okay? And you're going to get problems in the digestive organs because they're below the diaphragm. Now, it's very, very interesting that way. And that is part of a threefold response, which we'll look at in a minute. But I thought, if you just bear with me for a few minutes, why don't we just listen to Stephen Porges talking about his work? It's a 4-minute video. If it doesn't stream for you, I'm really sorry. Maybe go and get your paper and have a milli drink of water. Most people have been able to stream it, and I'm going to stream it now. It's on YouTube. You can find it on YouTube. Yeah, it goes like this. Here he is.
Our nervous system is functionally a triangle upside down, okay, with a point. This is the brainstem. I'm talking about the circuits that are being regulated in the brainstem that regulate our underlying state, percolate information up to the brainstem, and the brainstem, it literally is transmitting that information to higher brain structures, enabling access to different brain areas. So that when we're in safe states, we can access higher cortical functions, but when we're in dangerous states, those systems turn off and we're defensive. If we think of this triangle, and each time we get higher and higher, we have greater diversity of expression and outcome. So I'm talking about basically 3 states that provide a neural platform for great diversity of expression. If you are in a constant dangerous environment, your nervous system is going to find it difficult to detect safety. So if it can't detect safety, it's going to be in the state of more fight, flight, a low threshold to react. And when you're in that state, you're going to misread other people's cues. So you're more likely to see neutral faces as being aggressive. You're more likely to see fearful faces as if they were angry. So you can really confound difficult relationships. So you won't be able to use people to self-regulate. They'll become threatening and reactive. So if you have a history in which there is no experiences of using people to regulate in a very pro-social positive way, people will then become threatening or damaging to you. And what I always want to emphasize is that the social interactional behavior is a neural exercise. It's a neural exercise of using newer mammalian structures, in a sense evolutionary newer structures, to inhibit very primitive defensive systems. So if we feel that we're in safe environments, we'll use our face, we'll use the intonation of our voice, and we'll negotiate a relationship or maintain safety by doing that. And this is what friends do, this is what lovers do, this is what supposedly teachers are supposed to do and therapists, right? If we're a little bit in a more dangerous situation, like a novel environment, we don't know anything about it, we'll go into another physiological state that will support fight or flight mobilization behaviors. And if we can fight or flee, get away from something, then we've actually negotiated that danger. But what if we can't get away from the danger? What if we're held down or we're in a confined environment? What if we're trapped in a car or a plane or in a bathroom and someone is now going to hurt us? The possibility is that we could trigger a third circuit which shuts us down. And it's that shutdown circuit that makes it so important in understanding trauma. And the polyvagal theory articulates that shutdown circuit, while most other theoretical models of trauma and what people would call stress disorders only talk about a fight-flight system. Okay, so that's the core of what I would tell a person about the polyvagal theory. And the second component of that core is that these responses are not voluntary. Our nervous system is picking up information in the environment and evaluating that information, not on a cognitive level, but on a subconscious, we want to bring back that term, but on a neurobiological level where we're picking up features of risk or danger. And our nervous system puts us into those different states. And we can become aware of that because when we're in certain environments, we may feel our heart pounding. And we may ask the question, why is my heart pounding? And then you'll say, well, something in the environment must have triggered it. But often we don't know the cues that trigger these things. So the point I want to make is first that the polyvagal theory provides us with an understanding of 3 neural circuits that support different types of behavior. One is social engagement behaviors in safe environments. The other is fight, flight, and mobilization behaviors. And the third one is really a shutting down, a second level of defense.
If you didn't see that streaming, then sure, I'll send you a link after the webinar. Okay, so you can see how exciting that is. It's like a really, really interesting piece of work. It's in a massive field, and it's been very, very influential in lots and lots of therapies. Okay, so I wonder now, it's a good time maybe to do an energy work exercise ourselves. I mean, I'm going to take you back to a stressful time. Okay, so don't let it overwhelm you. If you are working on trauma at the moment, just take it easy, take a break. Just don't do the exercise if you feel you're going into processing stuff. But you should be able to do this exercise in kind of a relaxed way. Yeah, and should we do it together? I mean, I've got my pen and paper here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're just going to close our eyes. Okay, we're going to close our eyes. And we're going to think back to a time, a stressful time. Okay. I just want you to tune into your body energy and take yourself back to that time. I want you to scan through your energy and notice whereabouts in your body that experience resonates. Okay, so now turn that into a picture in your mind. Where did it actually impact that feeling, that stressful situation? Okay, and once you've got a picture in your mind, you can open your eyes. You might want to just shake out. It's good to shake out any tension that you might have in your body. Just relax. Okay, and then let's just draw what you felt. Okay, so you can draw maybe a side view or a front view of your body, and you want to divide the paper into 2 parts because we're going to do a second part in a minute. Okay, so the first part is the stressful situation. Okay, we're just going to draw that. Just a little sketch. Okay. Right, okay, so now let's do the second part. It's always good to finish on a happy note, okay? Teachers will know what I mean. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to do that. Also, it's going to be interesting to see whether we feel a different part of our body. Okay, so again, closing our eyes. Let's just take ourselves back to a very happy time, a happy and safe time. And just see whereabouts in your body you feel that happy and safe time resonating. Just close your eyes and tune in. Okay, now try and turn it into a picture. And then when you're ready, you can open your eyes. You probably don't need to shake out anymore with that one. And we're going to turn it into a picture. Okay. Now, question is, now look at my picture here. I've got the stressful one here. The main thing I noticed was I get a lot of energy down the spine and the back. That was the main thing, actually. And then on the the happy one, I definitely felt it more in the chest area. Okay, so I want you to look at your pictures and just think to yourself, where did you feel the resonance? Where did you feel it? Because that will give you an idea of which part of the nervous system was resonating or activated by those different experiences. Just bear that in mind. You might want to just put something in the chat to share it with the others in the group and with me, because I want to show you this absolutely awesome picture. And I'm going to actually turn my video off. Okay, now this is an absolutely awesome diagram, and I've used this with my clients, with some of my really severe post-traumatic stress disorder clients, because it really does give a really good idea, not only of the Peter Levine's stages, but also it's a great graphic representation of polyvagal theory. Okay, so the ventral vagal system, let's just go through it together. The ventral vagal system, that's the mammalian vagal system, the one we were talking about, the one that connects with the head and the ears and the eyes and everything. Hannah, yeah, I can. Yeah, I'll have to email. I'll have to email this as a download. You can find it online, by the way. If you just Google images and just Google polyvagal theory, it'll come up. It'll hit it really straight away. It's absolutely awesome. Okay, so look, we've got the social engagement system. It's all to do with safety, connection. Remember, Stephen Porges in the video was saying it's to do with connection, safety. You're orientated towards the environment. You're full of joy. You're in the present. You're grounded. You've got curiosity and openness and compassion and mindfulness. And that's what the ventral vagal nerve or the mammalian nerve allows you to do. If you look on the right-hand side, it gives you a lot of technical information. A lot of technical information about what increases and what decreases. Now, you see that most things like increase, the digestion, intestinal motility, that's the movement in the intestines, resistance to infection, the immune response boosted, you get more rest and recuperation, you get circulation for the non-vital organs, you get oxytocin produced, and you get this ability to relate and connect. The only thing that decreases is defensive responses, because you're relying on the social situation to provide you with a sense of danger. Okay, so now what happens then is the next stage is if that social engagement area is compromised by some kind of threat, you're not safe, and it may be a subliminal thing, you may not even realize it. You then go into the sympathetic nervous system, okay, which obviously relates more to the back. And so that's when you get into flight or fight. So either you move towards the threat with rage, anger, irritation, or frustration, or you move away, you panic, fear, anxiety, worry, and concern. Now, the sympathetic nervous system is working, your body's working, you can still cope with what's happening. But what will happen if you just can't get away, like Stephen was saying in the video, if you get overwhelmed, you're being restrained, or you're trapped in a car or in a small space, or you're trapped as a kid at school and you're in class, you can't get away. Then you go into the overwhelm, and then you go into the dorsal vagal, and that's the primitive vagal nerve. That's the one that we got from the reptiles, and we become like a reptile. So we become helpless. We have less conservation of energy. We have conservation of energy. Obviously, that's what we're trying to do. That can turn into depression, numbness, dissociation. And then finally, that can lead to shame, shutdown, hopelessness, and preparation for death and feeling trapped at an extreme level. Okay, so it's like really, really interesting to see that curve, because in order to get out of the freeze response, you have to deactivate that and go back into the nervous system, into the sympathetic nervous system, and that's when you will get the discharging, the shaking, and so on as the system normalizes. Okay, and as you can see on the right hand side, there's lots of technical information about what happens to the body. And I would definitely I see you've already sorted yourself out. You found the link you found it on the internet. That's cool. It is very easy to find on the internet. It's an absolutely superb graphic, and I've printed it out and I've used it with many of my severely traumatized clients, and it's really, really helped them. Okay, so let's just go on to the fire element. Just before we do that, just want to say one other thing, which is basically, if you look at your chart, your trauma chart, and I'll turn my video on out so you can see me again. Your chart, basically, if you felt, if you experienced something in the upper, what we call the upper heater, this area here, then you know that you're in that mammalian vagal system, okay? If you feel it in your back and your muscles, very good likelihood that you've gone into the sympathetic nervous system, because the sympathetic nervous system governs that function. And then if you feel it in the lower part of your body, like in the digestion, and you feel it kind of cramping up and getting tight, that means that you have a memory, a body memory of a stressful situation where you went into that dorsal vagal, that freeze state. And that's a fantastically useful thing, a very simple and very powerful way of talking to your clients and finding out what's going on and explaining to them why they feel these things in the stomach, why do they feel these things in the chest, why do they feel them in the back. And the other thing that I found fascinating in the therapeutic environment from the point of view of shiatsu is that you can work systematically through that. When I've had clients previously, and I've got them in, and they've been mainly in a freeze state, because of my relationship with TCM and the kidneys and the lower dantian, and because a lot of the problems with the lower dantian, I've mainly focused on trying to unfreeze the lower dantian. But what I found, and I'm still working on this, is that if you positively reinforce the social engagement area, that actually is much more powerful therapeutically, because it overrides the tendency to go into the reptilian vagal nerve. So in shiatsu terms, it would be, we would talk about supporting the upper heater, and the upper heater can actually override and bring the lower part of the body out of freeze by doing that. And that kind of isn't what you'd expect from TCM, because you always think the kidneys are more important, it's the jing, blah, blah, and the rest of it. So that's been a massive insight, and it's made very great difference to therapeutic outcomes that I've had with my severely stressed clients. So look, we have a look at the triple heater here. Look at this, it's very interesting. We've got the triple heater is to do with listening. Doesn't that remind you of something? Yeah, the listening is to do with the mammalian vagal nerve, okay? And there we have a connection between the listening, the danger, and the heartbeat. Whoa, these Chinese dudes with the TCM, they knew a thing or two 5,000 years ago, okay? And also look at the associations with the heart. We have joy, compassion, mindfulness, expression. Doesn't that sound exactly like the green zone of that chart? It does, because it is that zone, okay? Here's just a little taste of some of the charts we've generated for the course. Look at this. We've got the ventral vagal connection with the heart and the emotion. We've got the triple heater protection function, hearing for threat. And look, listen to this. Yeah, listen out for danger. No, look, think about triple heater 21 and small intestine 19. They're both points on the fire element meridians, on the yang fire element meridians, and they directly connect with the ear. And in TCM theory, they're to do with listening out in the social environment. It's straight polyvagal theory 5,000 years ago, okay? Think about joy and creativity, vagal regulation for safety, it's the same thing. And what about the heart and excitement, joy? Again, that's the vagal brake. Another very interesting relationship, the triple heater is related to the diaphragm, and the diaphragm is a mammalian development that separates the two vagal systems. Okay, think about the TCM relationship between the Shen and the Jing, okay? Well, we've got the relationship between the freeze response, which is the lower part of the lower burner, essentially, and we've got the Shen, which dissociates, which is part of the mammalian vagal nerve. Direct connection there, okay? Even more interesting, we've got basically the parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system. We've got the three dantians. They very clearly describe the cerebral area that Stephen was talking about and how that relates to the middle dantian, which is the ventral vagus, and the lower dantian, which relates to the dorsal vagus, and how they can balance out. We've got the Shen of the heart. We've got the Z and kidney and bladder related with Masunaga theory with the skeletal muscles. And we've also got the kidney relationship with the freeze. So it just goes on and on, okay? As you know from your TCM theory, the kidneys house the Z, and that's to do with the will, fight or flight. And of course, that's directly related to the freeze. The bladder meridian on the back activates and acts for the kidneys and creates the movement. And the fight or flight response, which directly links to the sympathetic nervous system, okay, is to do with the striated muscles or the skeletal muscles, and it's to do with movement. Okay, so that diagram with our TCM theory provides us with an absolutely awesome model that we can use therapeutically, and it's really having some great benefits. Okay, so that's basically a spin through some of just a few of the things that we have discovered while we've been researching and putting together this online course. And just before I tell you a little bit about the course, I'd like to all right. Yeah. Okay, cool. That's cool. You're all sharing loads and loads of stuff. That's absolutely fantastic on the chat. I can't keep up with it. Yeah, it's brilliant. There is a lot that you'll find that if you go out there and you look under polyvagal theory and therapy, there is actually tons of stuff out there because it's been so influential. If I could ask you just to let me know whether you've been on one of our online courses before, either the old format ones back in the day or one of the more recent ones. I'd just like to know whether I'm talking to the converted here, because I won't spend too long if I'm talking to the converted. So let's see. Oh, okay. Wow, more than half of you have already been on one of our online courses. Wow, that's terrific. Absolutely great. Okay, so it's about 50-50 actually now with most of you voted. So I won't spend too long on it. Maybe we can have a little bit of time for questions at the end. In fact, we could do that now if you like. So let me just stop sharing. Let's have 5 minutes of questions or sharing. Yeah, okay, so let's see. If you have been on one of our courses, if you've been on the foundations course, this is the natural next step from the foundations course, because the foundations give you all the body scanning, all the basic techniques of connecting with the energy field. And if you were on the webinar last month, temporal scanning, we go into that in great detail in module 2 of the course. It's like really, they're really, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, the foundations gives you the foundations of the advanced energy work, but the stress and trauma course is the most advanced course we've done so far, because temporal scanning is like another step up, and we go into it in more detail on the online course. We introduced it a month ago. Okay, so if you, yeah, thank you, Jenny, for, oh, okay, you want to know more about, Okay, David, if you haven't been on the foundations course, what we're going to do is we're going to put in some of the modules about the scanning. We're going to put that into module 2. So if you haven't done the foundations course and you want to fast track it, we're going to put the basic techniques into module 2 so that you can catch up with the advanced energy work stuff. Okay, a few people have asked me about, thank you, Loretti, yeah. Okay, cool. All right. Thank you for all those very kind people who've been on the courses saying how fab they are. They are absolutely great fun. We love them, and it's a great way of sharing this information right across the world. And it's all video based now, so it is very similar to being in class. Okay, so let me, without further ado, let me get back to sharing what's in the course. Let's have a look. Okay, so right, why do we love this course? The whole team are really excited. It's transforming our work. The results are terrific. We're getting a much deeper understanding. I'm sure just from, attending this webinar, you must have seen some really interesting things firing off here. It's the most advanced online course we've done so far, but don't worry, we'll catch you up. If you're not that hot on the real advanced energy work, we'll lead you through it, okay? Okay, so this is how it breaks down. We've got 8 modules, 7 and 1 bonus module. The first one is theory, TCM, and shiatsu neurophysiological research, including polyvagal theory. So it expands on what we've done in this webinar. The second module is the TCM diagnosis, the HARA diagnosis, the temporal scanning, the questioning, how you get the information to link that with the theory. And then what we do in the next modules is we go into much more detail with the theory and practice of the adrenal response. That's the sympathetic nervous system adrenal response, the fight or flight, the freeze response. We do more detailed work on dissociation, some of the energy stuff. Thank you, Birgit. Yeah, there are also, I just need to mention that you're not just left on your own. There's a discussion forum. This discussion forums are cool, a bit like this chat, really. Everyone's kind of like sharing stuff. So it's a very live kind of experience. Yeah, so where was I? Yeah, so module 5, dissociation. We've got a load of stuff on that. And then we've got resonant techniques, which is to do with how to assess the energy. That's an advanced energy work technique. But it's how you can basically assess which meridians are resonating with freeze and kind of stuff. The other thing we do in the resonance technique is we actually do coping with discharge. And actually, I was having a treatment from Shakura on camera, and I started to get some discharge from an early trauma. So that was very interesting to experience that and how to deal with it in the clinic. Okay. And then we had a lot of fun with module 7 because we chose our 21 most favorite points for treating trauma. And we had a bit of an argument about that, but we were all friends at the end. We got 21 points and we got a video for every single point. We've got not just where it is and stuff, the boring book stuff, but the energy work stuff, like where you direct your energy, what the effect of it is on the different aspects of the trauma response. We had a lot of fun with that. So you're going to get 21 different points, information that you can use. Okay. And then the bonus module, and I have to be completely straight with you here. This is module 8, and it's going to be in 2 months' time. And I still really don't know what's going to be in that module because it's just evolving so fast. And like I say, I'm working with some severely traumatized clients. I'm developing these resources. I'm bringing in more and more of Pat Ogden's work and Stephen Porges' work and Peter Levine. And hopefully I'll have it all nailed by week 8 because I want to get a whole set of Qigong type exercises I mentioned before. And also in the bonus module, we'll usually demonstrate a whole treatment so you can see how it all fits together. So that's how it works. And we've only got like a few minutes left. No, I haven't done any TRE work. No, I haven't. I'll look into that, Hannah. Thank you for that. Yeah. Shiatsu's magic. Right. Okay, cool. How are you going to handle 100 people on the course, Cliff, Jessica? Don't worry. We've got team. We've got 5 of us on the forums. Don't worry. We can do it. Yeah. So I don't mind. If we get 100 people, I'm very happy. Okay. It takes a lot of work to create these courses. And if you do enroll, you'll get a warm, fuzzy feeling knowing that you're supporting us and all the free stuff we do all through the year. Anyway, here we go. Here's just, if you haven't done one of our courses, how long is it? Well, it's going to be a minimum of 8 weeks. But you have lifetime access. That's the new thing about these video courses. They're lifetime access. And not only that, it takes about 45 hours to complete. So it's, fairly substantial amount of time. Okay, how does it work? Well, as soon as you enroll, we send you an email and it drips every week for 8 weeks. You get a new module opened up for you. Okay. We send you a little friendly reminder email saying, hey, the next one's over. And do you get feedback on your work? Yes, you do. You get support. We're on those forums and we support you all the way through it. Okay. And it's a live course as well. So if something's not clear, we can always create more video for you, more resources. And we've done that in the past. We're actually, it's a live thing. We want to find out whether you're getting the material. Okay. How much does it cost? Well, it's the full price for our online courses are €299. Okay. But we are going to give you a little offer because we really appreciate that you've been on the webinar and we really appreciate your efforts. So we have got a limited offer webinar discount and we've got the email all ready to go. And at 8:30, it should go out. If you don't get it, just email us. If something goes wrong, you don't get the email us and we'll get you one of the offers because we're going to offer a 25% webinar launch discount just to get everyone on board and get going with it all. Well, we can't afford to do it for everyone, so we're just going to limit it to 25 people that sign up first, a 25% discount. Okay, just check out your email and see what appears. If it all goes well at 8:30, that email should be on its way to you. Okay, so yeah, that's it. Thank you so much. I think you can probably gather that it's been an amazing experience for us creating this course, and we're really looking forward to the next 8 weeks. It's just all very, very live stuff at the moment. And from the from the polls, it looks like there's a massive area there of really exciting work that many of us in the shiatsu world haven't explored yet. And so if we can all do that together, we're just going to raise up that game and we're going to be so much more confident at working severely traumatized people with, and I have to emphasize this, a methodology that is endorsed by the leading experts in the field. Okay, the leading people out there, they are saying that body work, connecting the mind and body is the way to go. And we've got 5,000 years behind us. We're right in that zone. And it's time for us to get on that train and make connections. Okay, thank you very, very much for your time, and hope to see you on the course. That would be very, very cool. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.